Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Trader Seat Time with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 25th of June 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, just to see what's happening right now, see where this could be heading to. But as always, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Also, just before we jump into the charts, very quick mentioning here of our YouTube channel here of JFD Bank. If you do like our videos, click subscribe. Just click on the bell there as well, so that you wouldn't miss any of our videos when they're coming out. Guys, I hope you can, like I said, you can find use in all the videos that we do. There's a range of different ones, in a few languages as well. So feel free to subscribe. We'll be very happy to see you always with us in our webinars. But for now, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the S&P 500. Now, yesterday, this one managed to kind of slide a little bit to the downside. Of course, we know that last week on Friday, the S&P 500 managed to reach a new all-time high number near the 2964 level. But then, as you can see, it's kind of slid back down. It slid back down below this previous all-time high that was reached on the 1st of May this year. Now we can see that it is currently sitting here slightly below this 2,954 level. So looking at the cash index right now, we can see that it is trying to push higher. Initially this morning it did slide a little bit lower, but not significantly, and right now the cash index is slightly above the yesterday's close. So we will see a nice good little gap here, or actually inside gap, but the main thing for us right now is going to be the level here, the 2,954 level. Again, we need to see a nice good push above this, or ideally a nice good close of the 4-hour candle above that level before we could aim for the last week's high near the 2,964 level, which also is the new all-time high. So in a way, if we see a nice good push above the 2,954 level, then it increases the chances for the index to travel up again and test the last week's high, the all-time high figure. But if that fails to withhold, then this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and of course a new all-time high as well. So for now, we're going to be very careful with this one. If this decides to slide back down, and let me just adjust a few levels here, guys, very quickly. So if this one slides back down and drops below this area right here near the 2,930.31 area approximately there, now this is where it could turn out to be ugly for the bulls. For the buyers, we could see this one correcting further to the downside. We're not going to drag it too much to the downside. Initially, we will target the 2,910. Of course, the psychological 2,900 level also could be a nice potential target. Is just kind of here, just in the middle of this little gap here that we saw between the 17th and the 18th of June. But still, a better potential target for us could be around this 2,878 zone, near that level, which previously acted, as you can see, in the first half of June, acted as a good area of support here. So we will target that, but before we could aim for lower areas, we need to see that nice good break here below this one, the below the 2,931.30 zone, something like that, approximately there. Let me just quickly highlight this for our future reference. That's basically in terms of the downside. In terms of the upside, I'll repeat myself again. We need to see a nice good push, another good push above this 2,954 level, and only then we will aim for higher levels. That's what's in regards to the S&P 500. Now a quick mentioning here of Ethereum. So looking at this one, you can see that on Sunday the crypto managed to reach an area here near the 318 level, from which it kind of reversed back to the downside and traveled lower. On Monday it tried to push higher but kind of failed to reach this 318 level. Today it failed to reach that level as well. So and now you can see that it's reversing back to the downside. That said, we're not gonna say that we're now skeptical about the upside. No, that's not the case. What we're gonna look here for is, of course, initially we will draw this nice a bit of a tentative one, but nevertheless an upside support line taken from the low here, taken from the low of the 6th of May. So we're going to keep a close eye on this one. That's going to be like slightly on the, I wouldn't say a bigger picture, but slightly large, broader extent, from the broader extent. Yep. But also what we're going to do here is we're going to keep a close eye on this other upside line here, taken from the low of the 10th of June. Now this is going to be, of course, a more interesting one for us right now and from the short term perspective, because if this decides to slide below today's pivot and travels lower and breaks below this little area of support here, let me just put this one on the chart. Basically, if it breaks below the psychological 300 level, then yep, we may see a test of this upside line here. But then again, don't kind of rush into those sells yet, because in order for us, let's say, to examine a kind of maybe a deeper, a larger extension here to the downside, ideally we would like to see a drop below the 289 level, and only then we will aim for lower areas. For now, any move here lower could be seen as a small correction before another leg of buying. But for those who are more on the cautious side, what you could do here is, of course, keep this idea in your head, this one that I just drawn here, but just for that better confirmation, a break above this recent high, a break above the 318 level could lead the crypto to the upside here. Of course, we will aim for levels like the 340 or even nicer number 350. So for now, keep your eyes on the 318 level here on the upside. But in terms of the downside, from the very short term perspective, watch the psychological 300 level. If we see a drop below that, we may see a slide lower. The only thing is that it may get held here. The price might get held near this very short-term tentative upside line taken from the lows of the 9th of June. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. Euro dollar. Now this one, I talked about this one this morning and yesterday. Basically this morning what I was saying, that it is sliding, it was sliding to the downside. It did today, this morning, it managed to reach, early morning, of course I'm talking about, during the Asian morning, it managed to reach the area near the 1.1412, 1213, something like that. Then kind of slid back down, dropped below the pivot, tested this tentative upside line here, taken from the low of the 19th of June. But as you can see now, the bulls kind of quickly took control again and pushed the pair back above its pivot. Of course, all this kind of creates this nice positive atmosphere for euro dollar. Excuse me. The only thing is that in order to aim for higher levels, what we're going to do here is we're going to wait for a push above the 1.14 1213 level here, just basically above these recent highs here, because in a way this could in a way travel a little bit higher, but then if it fails to reach this 1.1413 level, then it might reverse back down, break this upside line and travel lower. So in order for us to consider the downside again, now we will wait for a a drop below this level right here, where it found good support today near the 1.1375. A drop below this could lead the pair towards this level that I keep talking about, this 1.1348 zone, or even you can round it up towards the 50. So we'll aim for that level if we see a drop below the 1.1375. Now I do understand it's only approximately around the 27 points away from this, but still it's better to be safe than sorry. But if this level fails here to withhold the 1.1348, now this is where it could turn out to be ugly for the bulls. We could see more sellers jumping in here and potentially driving this one towards the 1.13 level. For now, of course, the current reversal is adding a bit of positiveness to this short-term outlook, but just for that better confirmation, wait for a break above the 1.1413 level, and then aim for higher levels. And by higher levels, I mean the 1.1448. That's going to be a very nice target here for euro dollar, given that it was a nice area of resistance back here on the 20th of March this year. So be very careful. We'll see how it plays out near this level, and then we'll take it from there. GBPNZD, very quickly on this one. So NZD is quite strong today, so of course be very careful with the interest rate decision that's coming out from RBNZ tonight, or should I say during the early Asian morning tomorrow, and be very careful with that one, because we may see a few moves here and increased volatility, and it will be very interesting to see. So we're not going to speculate too much on this one. We're gonna just trade the fact here and see how it's gonna perform. But in terms of the levels, what you could keep an eye on here is look at this 1.9110 level. So as you can see, previously it acted as a good area of support. In a way, you could, if you want, you can kind of drop it to the 1.91 level. So in a way, if we see a drop below the 1.91 level, then yep, further declines could be possible. We could aim for the psychological 1.90 zone, initially of course aiming for this one here at the 1.9050, but if that fails to withhold, then yep, the 1.90 could play out nicely as well. So be very careful for now. Keep your eyes on the 1.9110 and the 1.91 level itself. If we see a drop below that, then yep, further declines are possible. But if this decides to reverse back up here and pushes above the 1.9245 zone, approximately there, then in a way we could consider a move towards this 200 EMA. As you can see on the 4-hour chart, it acted as a good area of resistance. Even here we did have this little kind of short-term move above this 200 EMA, but it quickly kind of retraced, the pair quickly retraced back below it, and then as you can see here, back on the 19th, or should I say last week, the pair struggled to kind of stay above this 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart. So that's why initially, if we see a push above the 1.9245 level, we will target only the 200 EMA, and then we'll take it from there. If we see a nice good close of the 4-hour candle above this 200 EMA, then it could increase the chances for this pair to travel higher. The only thing is, of course, do not forget about a similar scenario that we saw here back around the 14th of June. But in a way, how you could kind of play this one out here, if we see initially a push above the 1.9245, then yes, of course, this increases the chances for a test of the 200 EMA. And if we see the pair pushing above the 200 EMA, and then let's say it climbs above this these highs here, these June highs, or actually let me just double check myself here very quickly. Yes, basically the highest point of June here was near the 1.9415, and if we see a nice good strong push above that, then yep, we will aim for higher levels, and initially of course we will target this little high of the 29th of May, which was around the 1.9456-57 zone. But if that fails to withhold, then yep, the next potential target for us could be around here, somewhere around this level, near the 1.9510 level. And let me just quickly put this one on the chart here, guys. So this is what I'm talking about, and there we go. So around this level here could be a nice target for GBPNZD. But of course, before we could even consider all these higher levels, we need to see that initial good push above the 1.9245. So keep your eyes on that one. And the last pair for this session, for this webinar, is the NZDUSD itself. So of course, as you can see the strength here. So after it reversed to the upside from near the 0.6480 level, you can see that this was the area that we were keeping a close eye on. And when I was covering this one in one of my previous videos, I talked about this level. So basically, you can see that it never kind of reached this area, the 0.6480, and then kind of reversed from there last week and pushed to the upside. It was traveling higher for the whole week last week, and as you can see, this is what it's doing right now as well. So of course, it will be very interesting to see if actually this pair can continue pushing higher. Now the level that we're keeping a close eye on is here is of course the 0.668182 marked near the highs of the 7th of June, or in other words the highest point of June. This will be very interesting to see if it actually reaches that. Now if it does reach this level, now also what I wanted to kind of let you keep in mind here, guys, basically keep an eye on this potential kind of range formation. So basically, if it struggles to push above the 0.6882 level, approximately there, then we may see something like this happening, guys, where we may see a bit of correction here back to the downside. Also, do not forget that this pair is trading above this little tentative upside line here. Let me just quickly draw this one. There we go. So this upside line here is running from the approximately from the lows of the 18th of June, or should I say actually, yeah, 18th of June. Keep your eyes on this one. So in a way, we may see something like this happening here if, like I said, if this continues to push higher, but let's say fails to push above the 0.6682. Now this is where it could become interesting for maybe those scalpers here, for the bearish scalpers, who could in a way maybe try to drag this one to this upside line here for a quick test, and then we'll take it from there. If we see something like that, if we see the rate getting held here, like I said, we'll take it from there, see what he wants to do then. But for now, of course, all this is trying to continue to push higher. Let's see if it actually manages to do that. Again, if this, let's say, decides to drop below this upside line, below this tentative upside support line, and drops below the 0.6604 zone approximately there, or in general the 0.66 level, then we may consider a possible slide towards this little area of support. Now let me just adjust the level here very quickly, and this is what we're going to be targeting here. Then we will aim for the 0.6550 zone approximately there, guys. So good potential target, good potential area for support, but for now it's slightly off the table. The main thing for us here is right now the upside and this 0.668182 level. So keep your eyes on that one. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. And as I've mentioned before, please subscribe to our JFD YouTube channel. And I hope you can, like I said, you can find good value in these videos that we do. So yep, we'll be always happy to see you in our room here, in our webinars. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful trading evening for those who are still trading. And for those who are finished for today, have a nice evening and just in general, relax, and we'll see you tomorrow in my Traders Espresso, as always, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, bye bye.